Okay, so you guys, we took notes on page 34 already. If you didn't take your notes, make sure you go back and watch number 37, Slope Dude. Okay, so now we're going to take notes on page 35. And actually, before we do that, we're going to make sure our table of contents is updated because I have not updated mine. So page 2, we have one more thing to add. We need to add page 34 is about slope. Okay, and this is the last topic we're going to cover for before the final. Okay, so page 34 is slope. Make sure you have that. Okay, so let's go back to page 34. We got slope dude already. We're going to go over here. And we are going to write our learning target at the very tip top of the page. Okay, so our learning target this time is I can find slope from NAG. So multiple representations. Multiple representations. So I can find slope from NAGs. I'm just going to write that out. Numerical, graphical, oops, I forgot algebraic, and sentence. Okay, so make sure you have that in your notes. I can find the slope from NAGs. Numerical, algebraical, graphical, and sentence. You need to be able to find it from all of those things. Okay, and I'm just going to write both up at the top so we don't forget. Remember, slope is the same as our rate of change. So sometimes you'll hear me talking about ROC, rate of change. It's the same as slope. Another word we often use is the steepness. Steepness is the same. Okay, we also use M. We also talk about the rise over the run. All of these things mean the same thing. We also talk about the change of X. This is a fancy way in math to say change of Y over change of X. Let's write that that means change. That's a delta. So if you do like a Greek, like sorority or fraternity in college, you'll talk about delta, but delta means change. So the change of Y over the change of X. And then finally, we've got our slope formula if you want it. So it's Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Okay, that all means slope. And actually, I'm going to put this a little bit higher so that I have enough space to work down here. Okay, so that's all my stuff that means slope. So like I said, we're going to do NAGs. So I'm going to split up my paper now into the representations. So just like what we did when we did NAGs. So I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to cut it in half again. Okay, so N, A, G, S. And NAGs. Okay, so let's do the N first. So that's numerical. And I'm going to write that, numerical, which means I can either get coordinates or a table. Okay, coordinates means points. Okay, so I'm talking points or a table. Points or a table. Okay, so first up, let's do the slope from 2 points. So if I was given, here's my example, if I was given 5, -1, and -5, 7. Okay, I would do like I normally do. So I would go to Desmos, okay, and I would plug it in my table, x1, y1. I'm going to plug in 5, -1, and -5, 7. Okay, so let's do that right now. 5, -1, -5, +7, okay? And I'm going to do my cheat code. y1 tilde mx1 plus b. Okay, remember I get that from y equals mx plus b. Okay, and all I'm supposed to find is the slope. So this time the slope is -0.8. So I'm going to write down slope is -0.8. Okay, there's from some points. Let's do another example here. Sometimes we're given a table. So let's say we got this table. So the x and the y. And this time it's going to be -10, +11, 0, 3, 5, -1. And let's do 10, -5. 10, -5. Okay, so I'm going to put them in my Desmos. So actually, let's just clear all of this out. Okay, so -10, 11, 0, 3, 5, -1, and 10, 5. And then, just like before, we've got to do our cheat code. So we type that in Desmos, and we have to do the cheat code. y1 tilde mx1 plus b. And again, we're only looking for the m. y1 tilde mx1 plus b. This time, the m is -0.4. -0.4. Oh, no, it's not. I put that in wrong. That was a -5. I got -0.8. Okay. So with algebraic, remember that means equation. Okay, so I have a couple of kinds of equations. I have a slope-intercept form equation. So a slope-intercept form would be like -4/5 x plus 3. Okay, I know it's slope-intercept form because it looks like y equals mx plus b. Remember, the m is the slope, so this time my slope is -4/5. Okay, -4/5. Okay, but sometimes they'll give us a standard form equation. Okay, so this one is standard form. It's 4x plus 5y equals 15. Okay, the reason why this one's standard form, okay, standard form, is because it doesn't start off y equals. See how our last one had y equals? This one doesn't start off y equals. So anytime we have something like this, the first thing we do is we plug it into Desmos. Okay, so let's plug that in. Clear all this stuff out. 4x plus 5y equals 15. Okay. Now, if I want Desmos to find the slope, I need to find at least 2 pretty points. So let's see if our intercepts are pretty. If they're good enough, so let's put those in. So 0, 3 looks good. And actually, you know what? I don't want to put a decimal, so let's try to find a non-decimal. So if I look at this picture, let's look at it nicely. Okay, so it looks like it's not crossing nicely here, and it wasn't. Okay, so let's find a different one. So what about right at that corner? So that's -5, +6. So I went over to the left 5, and I went up, oh, not 6, 7. So let's try that. -5, +7. Okay, and I can always not plug that in and see if I can drag it to that location. So -5, +7, that's on the line. -5, +7. So I found 2 points. Find 2 pretty, remember pretty means whole number, points, and put in table. So I got my x1, my y1, they were 0, 3, and -5, 7. And I bet you know the next step. Yep, we need to do the cheat code. So step 3 is my cheat code. Step 3 is my cheat code. Y1 tilde mx1 plus b. Oh, and look at this. My m is -0.8. -0.8. Okay, so once again, I plugged the equation in Desmos. I found 2 pretty points, and I plugged them in a table, and then I did my cheat code. Okay, sometimes we're given a graph. Okay, so I'm going to quickly draw this graph, and then we're going to start talking about it. Okay, so G is for graphical, which is a graph. Okay, so here's my graph. Go ahead and sketch it on your paper. Okay, so I've got a pretty point right here at 0, 3. And there's a nice point right here at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's down 1. So that's a -1. Okay, so when I get a graph, my first step is always find 2 pretty points. We found those. And then just like before, point. Okay, just like before, we're going to put in a table. So here's my 2 pretty points in a table. So 0, 3, and 5, -1. So 0, 3, 5, -1. And then I bet you know what to do next. Next step is always cheat code. Okay, so that's y1 tilde mx1 plus b. And my m is -0.8. Do you guys notice a trend? All these are -0.8 because they're all the same slope. All of these representations were. Okay, it's really important that we notice that this slope, if I would have looked at it when thinking about slope dude, he would have said, nice, negative. If I ever get an M that's not negative, I know that my points were not correct. Okay, I know that my points were not correct. Okay, and then my personal favorite way to find slope is given a sentence. Given a sentence. So that's like a verbal representation. Okay, and we always ask ourselves a question. So we're going to write this question down. Can you use the word per? Can you use the word per? Not like a cat, but like P-E-R. Okay, so write that down. That's going to be important. We're going to be asking ourselves that question as we go. Okay, my first example is 40 miles per hour. There's my word per. So that's 40 miles per 1 hour. So my slope is 40 miles over 1 hour. Okay, let's do $34 for 4 pizzas. Okay, can I use the word per? Yeah, I could take this out. It could be $34 per 4 pizzas. So my slope would be $34 per 4 pizzas. Okay, let's do another one. What about withdraw? Withdraw $50 each month. Okay, again, I'm going to ask myself, can I use the word per? Withdraw $50. Oh, per month. That works. Okay, so I know this is $50. Oh, and I'm withdrawing it. Withdraw means to take away. So I'm going to subtract it per, and then it says month. So I know that means 1 month. There's an invisible 1 there. Okay, some other ones we could have are like descend. Let's put one more in here. Descend. Do you know what that means? Descend means go down. 20 feet over seconds. Okay, and remember that could say 20 feet per second, so my slope would be negative 20 over 1 second, or negative 20 feet over 1 second. Okay, so always think about, can you use the word per? Can you use the word per?